But Hunter's problem is not just the crack, because he's clearly high in this interview.
Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably.
He's upset that his gravy train has come to a collision. It has collided. It has stopped.
These Democrats say, you have to talk about and realize that people are really upset about illegal immigration. You. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? When I say they, I mean the speaker. Pelosi, who the f*** do you think you are? I would never speak.
But one thing out of this that I did, well, I actually enjoyed the whole thing, was the exposure of the Democrat Civil War. You know, he really let a lot of cats out of the bag. I mean, he talked about.
No. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, because they think cocaine, Scarface, very cool. Yeah. Crack cocaine, they think The Wire.
Oh, in that sense, oh, absolutely.
You know, how different is the experience?
Oh, it's vastly, vastly different. And like for real, I feel really reluctant to kind of have some euphoric discussion. I know you're not asking me to do that, but have some euphoric discussion about crack cocaine.
I think this might be kind of the opposite here.
Okay, no, it's the exact opposite. I'm saying I don't want to have the experience of some euphoric recall. That's how powerful crack cocaine is. Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safer than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all. You know, all of these actors and, you know, people in the past that talked about they had a problem with cocaine and freebasing. They were smoking crack.
So straw on the stove is the same thing?
Not exactly, but close to it. But it's a little bit different. But anyway.
What? Crack is safer than alcohol? Oh, my God.
Look, I don't know about that. In this case, I trust Hunter Biden's judgment on that. I mean, how? I mean, I don't know. I can't say that he's wrong.
First of all, I will tell you, as someone who grew up around drug users, with multiple, that's one thing I know about drugs. Crack is worse than alcohol. Okay, it's highly addictive. That's number one. Number two, when they are high on crack, they are nuts. They are nuts. This man, he's lying, or he's just, I don't know what he's doing, playing up for the camera. What are your thoughts on this, Nicole?
Yeah, you know, he's playing up for the camera. When there's a chance for someone who's always craved the spotlight to have it, and they finally get it, I mean, they let loose, and that's what we saw. This was like a torrent of diarrhea from his mouth about all kind of things, just espousing all of his crackhead ideas. Now, crackheads will try to sell you an old battery and a bottle cap, telling you if you put the two together that, you know, the second coming of Jesus will appear before you, because their senses are altered. And what we saw here with Hunter Biden is that he may have some difficulties cognitively because of his recreational use of drugs. And that's unfortunate. But we also saw what we used to see from Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That famous Biden anger and that famous Biden shit talking.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Let's get to that.
Opinions. But fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him and everybody around him. I don't have to be fucking nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. Fucking George Clooney is not a fucking actor. He is a fucking, I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. Fuck you. What do you have to do with fucking anything? Why do I have to fucking listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his fucking life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the fucking New York Times to me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 fucking years, and David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of fucking David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior fucking speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40-50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history, how to have a better midterm election than anybody in history, and how to garner more votes than any president that has ever run. And they're going to replace their judgment for his.
Not to mention
Who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper?
my mom or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
For real though, I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No,
because
no.
by the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news, and beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab, such a disservice to everybody that he serves with.
Tell him why you mad, son. He's hurt. Who hurt you, Hunter? Who hurt you? You got a pardon. You should be, sitting away in the sunset somewhere.
First of all, is that a rehab location where he is? Because the way he's dressed, looks like he's in a rehab farm somewhere, a rehab home somewhere. That's number one. That's why I think he's high. I think he's lit there. But let me tell you about James Carville and Axelrod. One thing they do have are 2-time candidates each time, Clinton and Barack Obama. So they do know something, Hunter Biden, about getting people elected, particularly to the presidency, and 2 times in a row. It's not so much that he's not just upset. He's upset that his gravy train has come to a collision. It has collided. It has stopped. Now, yes, Biden, the family has millions or whatever, but nobody is taken in by your fake art. Okay, you can't go to Ukraine and China and wherever else and make these phony deals representing your father as if you are the president of the United States. That's all stopped. So therefore, this is why Hunter is really upset. And as far as Tapper and Clooney, okay, whatever. They all basically pulled the curtain or opened the curtain when they could no longer benefit from the gravy train either. That's what Hunter is upset about.
And he's somehow convinced all of us that these people are the fucking criminals. White men in America are 45 more times likely to commit a fucking violent crime than an immigrant. And the media says, well, you got David Axelrod and, Rahm fucking Emanuel. So fucking smart, Rahm Emanuel. And said, we got to understand that these people are really mad. And we got to appeal to these white voters. Rahm, the only people that fucking appealed to those fucking white voters was Joe Biden, 81 years old. And he got 81 million votes, and he did not because he appeased their fucking Trumpian sense, but because he challenged it. And he said, you can be an 81-year-old Catholic from fucking Scranton that doesn't understand it, but still has empathy for transgender people and immigrants. And then nobody said, oh, Joe Biden's going to turn us into a socialist state, no matter how much they said it. But these guys think that we need to run away from all values in order for us to lead. I say, fuck you. How are we getting those people back from fucking El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the fucking president of El Salvador and say, you either fucking send them back or I'm going to fucking invade. It's a fucking crime what they're doing. He's a fucking dictator thug.
Bukele or Trump?
Both.
Wow, Nicole. So he's talking about illegal immigration. Of course, he blames the white man. What are your thoughts there?
Oh, Hunter. The truth of the matter is Hunter is espousing things he likely has heard his father say many times. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden ascended to the presidency, and I use those words lightly, not because he's some great legislative power, but because he was a white man. Let's do that. That's how his daddy got to be president and how he got this set to sell photographs of vomit and paint worldwide for millions and millions of dollars. Shelley's right. He's angry that the gravy train has stopped. But Joe Biden, prior to becoming president in his, let's say, late 50s, was a very angry man. Mm-hmm. He was always screaming and hollering and cussing and throwing stuff. People did not like him. He was not likable at all. In fact, many Democrats feared him. But you want to know a couple of Democrats who didn't? Axelrod. And let me tell you, he can say what he wants to say about James Carville, but James Carville is a powerhouse in politics. I don't care what side of the aisle you sit on. His former wife, I don't know if they're still married, Marlee Matlin, was on the Republican side of the aisle. These were two people who took American politics very seriously, regardless of your Democrat, Republican. Is he a very wealthy person with very wealthy person tendencies? Yes. But Hunter's problem is not just the crack, because he's clearly high in this interview, or the questions, but he's already got a temper. He's got his dad's temper. He's pissed because the money's been cut off. And the money that they have, if he thinks for 1 second Jill's going to let him have unfettered access to that money, he is mistaken. He is mistaken. She'd probably pull his eyelashes out to protect her investment after years sleeping with that maniac. Are you serious? Yeah. She would fight him tooth and nail to protect her investment in the Biden empire. He's got to stay in rehab. He's got to get himself together, or we'll be burying him.
Yeah. This man is trash. This man is trash. And he, I don't feel sorry for him.
Like Democrats say, white people, white privilege. He is the poster boy for white privilege.
Exactly. And despite being the son of a career politician, he was raised with wealth, access, and power. He lashes out with such vulgar street level profanity like a thug on the corner of Baltimore City and North and Penn. He's got an Ivy League educated. He doesn't sound like it. His son he's the son of a U.S. president. And he gives this angry tirade filled with F-bombs. To me, he's no different than you see these sexy red rappers, Cardi B. He's actually worse because at least they have an excuse somewhat. They grew up in poverty and, dog eat dog world, in the dog eat dog environments of New York City and things like that. This guy comes from money. And he's talking like this and acting like this. But you know what? It's because, as you mentioned, this is what happens when you combine privilege with zero accountability. Absolutely. You got Hunter Biden, a man who grew up in mansions, but still speaks like a cracked out street hustler. Because this is what it is.
That's who he is.
Money. Do we still not know who left the cocaine in the White House? We still don't have the closure on that, right?
Right.
We still don't. But you know what? If I had an ounce of sympathy or empathy, or not empathy, because I've never been a drug dealer, I'm not a drug addict, but if I had an ounce of sympathy for Hunter, this is what I would point to. I believe his father used his children. He used his children for his own political gain. He had them so wrapped up in this power and privilege that they were really, their own identity was never developed on their own.
An incredibly permissive environment where everybody is looking out for number one and trying to, feed the nest egg. Here's this kid who clearly has problems. And instead of getting him, quote unquote, the help he needs that they can afford to give him, he turns to what, poor people turn to: drugs, alcohol, but excellent recovery services if he wanted them. But, this plays into that theory that not everybody wants to be clean. Maybe his purview of the world is better for him when he's cracked out. The problem is he won't last long. He won't last long.
Well, he avoids any reflection on his drug abuse, the corruption, the exploitation of the Biden name. He blames everybody else for his father's downfall. And that's a terrible, terrible disposition to be in. No self-accountability. But this is the Democrat playbook. This is how they want America. They want us blaming other people. They blame everybody. Blame racism. They blame, white men. They blame men. It goes around. This is all they do. Blame, blame, blame. Here's one last clip of him where he blames Nancy Pelosi.
And you would have the Speaker Emeritus that would say, well, I'm going to leave it up to, but I don't know. And they had already made a decision. They had clearly made a decision. And when I say they, I mean the Speaker. And, I heard Alexandra Pelosi say something, call my mom, like, put your big girl pants on to my mom or something. And I kind of feel like saying, who the fuck do you think you are? I would never speak about your mom that way. Yeah. I would never speak about your father that way. I would never insult your parents that way. Even to this day.
Also, as you all come in, hit that like button. It helps to get our video out in front of a wider audience. We need that. Our goal is to get to 200,000 subscribers by Labor Day, and we only can do it with your help. Thank you all so much. But as you come in, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Subscribe.
One of the things that people on drugs, particularly habitually so, to an abusive level, it does change your brain chemistry. It does change the way your brain is supposed to operate. So at some point, like the Hunter Bidens, he looks high to me, okay, and with those kind of uniform type shirts on or whatever, but he really does not know how to think clearly. His brain is literally, or has literally been fried to a large degree. So to get those, the neurons, once they're gone, they're gone. You just have to get some new ones, but his brain is probably atrophied in a lot of places. So it's going to be a long time.
When listening to him, especially in that last clip where he talks about, if it were me, how dare you talk to my mother that way? It seems to me like he thought that there would be a legacy for him since his father served 7 terms in the Senate and was the president of the United States, that would have cleared a path for him to have some sort of position of power at the federal level here in our nation. Nothing could be further from the truth. I agree with Shelley. This is how his brain is functioning. Well, my last name is Biden, so the world should just lay down and just give me its riches because my father did all of this work. Well, sometimes you do inherit things from your parents. Unfortunately for you, you inherited a lot of things, right? That temper, number one, all of this cursing and carrying on. Number 2, that's not the drugs. That's the Biden. Joe Biden is a horrible piece of work. This man, as a politician, was just absolute dumpster fire. Right? He was hard to deal with, hard to talk to. He's not that little creepy Grandpa Joe sniffing little girl's hair. He was always a little bit of a rebel rouser, if you will. Right? So here's his hothead son who's got a drug problem that, it makes you think about all the people who could use some of those resources to get clean that he's just putting up his nose and in his arm. It makes you so sad to think that, it's not going to end well. If he can't get clean with all of those millions, it's not going to end well.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Everybody's he's got everything at his fingertips, and so he doesn't have to try. And so that is never a help for any addiction. You can't just have everything given to you. You have to want to get clean. You have to fight to get clean. And so he has never had to fight. He believes he is owed something, and that's a terrible combination. I mean, he talked about Clooney. And helped push Biden. He claims George Clooney helped push Biden out with a New York Times op-ed saying he should drop out. And so his response proved there's a deep resentment inside the Democrat machine. We're dealing with a fractured party where Hollywood elites and DC strategists are at war with the Biden family. And it sounds like that he is not going out without a fight. I hope he does more interviews.
Me too.
Let the left eat themselves alive.
I hope they get him on 60 Minutes Australia, because they ask the right kind of questions in Australia. They don't, none of this kid gloves situation that we do here. I hope they sit down and talk to him. Questions I would want to know. Number 1, Hunter, how do we fix it? Your last name's Biden. What's the fix? Oh, and I'm sure he would be rolling legislators under the bus, like this one's sleeping with this one's mother. This one's, got a Chinese lady locked up in a trailer in his backyard. He gonna let it fly. I would love for him to just open up his crazed brain and let it all fall out, because in every little nugget, there's going to be a little tiny piece of truth. A little tiny piece of truth. It would be juicy, KJ. We'd have to do a hop in for that one.
Oh, yes, we do. And we could call it the pardon son versus the party elites. Yes, indeed.
Pop your corn. It's going to be good.
Yes, it is. It would be. It would really be good, because he's got another interview lined up, I believe. Where did I see that? I don't know if this was the one or if this is another one he has lined up with where is it? Jamie Harrison is someone supposed to be interviewing him.
Oh, Jamie Harrison was the former DNC chair, the black guy, kind of chubby.
Okay,
I wonder if he's
now lined up for appearances. Well, I don't know. You go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, I just wonder if he's being paid. I don't know. I'm just, he's just getting his face out there or whatever. So whatever.
Who knows? Who knows? We will continue to follow this story, folks, and bring you all the juicy details. We certainly will. We gotta have some comic relief. I mean, with all this stuff, our blood pressure has been up with the Epstein, and then now we're waiting on hopefully some type of investigations come out with Obama and the Russia collusion. So, we need a little bit of comic relief with this, to tickle our fancy. So we will see.